if you're in Philly, or if you're Philly, if you're Daryl Morey, Elton Brand, do you blow it up?
When you say blow it up, what do you mean?
Trading Embiid. You build around Tyrese Maxey.
That's like a nuke.
Basically,
You're
because
nuking it.
I'll give you some context, right? Embiid drafted in 2014,
Yeah.
missed his first 2 seasons, then started to play. Obviously, you draft Ben Simmons, you flop with Markelle Fultz,
Yeah.
and then you trade up to 1 instead of drafting Tatum, you draft Fultz. You go out in the second round in 2018, but that's Embiid's first playoffs. Nothing really to write off about that. Then chippy series against the Nets in 2019. Then you lose in dramatic fashion to the Raptors. If that shot doesn't fall, who knows what happens. 2020, everyone was injured, and I think Ben Simmons missed like most of that. You get swept by Boston, so that's a write-off. 21, you're the 1 seed, and you completely choke in the second round against the Hawks. And then 2022, you get past the Raptors, and then you lose to the Heat. And then last year, you go up 3-2 on the Boston Celtics. You have a closeout game at home. Jason Tatum is 1 of 15 from the field after 3 quarters,
Wow.
and he goes nuclear for the remaining 5 quarters of the series. He scored 10 points in the third quarter, and you lose Game 7.
Yeah.
So it's 3 Game 7 losses, like 6 second-round exits.
This is tough, man. But I'm going to have to say you nuke it. You blow it up. I think you got to get rid of Embiid while you can still get something in exchange for him. I think he's had too many injuries. He hasn't closed out, like you've just explained, he hasn't closed out the series as where he should have. And I think you build around Tyrese Maxey. He's a young player. He looks like he has a bright future ahead of him. I think you go out and you get picks, players, whatever it might be.
You're going to get a combination of both.
Yeah. So I think you do blow it up.
I'm
'Cause
gonna.
I don't think you can win. I just don't think you can win with Embiid right now with what you have.
As the first option?
I think you can win with Embiid as a first option, but with what you have right now, I don't think you can.
I agree in the sense of, I mean, he's not even playing his best basketball, let alone the rest of the team. Tyrese Maxey's playing good,
Yeah.
but what else? This is a rare bad year in the playoffs from Tobias Harris. You're not getting much production from anywhere else.
Yeah.
You have no other star to fall back on. There's no Harden. There's no Simmons. There's no
Jimmy
Jimmy
Butler.
Butler. There's no one else for Embiid to throw blame onto, even though he probably will. I just don't know. And Philly's never been sustainable, and I do think I'm a big believer in basketball karma, and the way they tanked was so egregiously bad that this is the result of what's happening.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're talking about when they take back in like 2013?
Yeah, when they were winning 9 games in
Yeah.
a season, or 10 games in a season, it was really bad levels of tanking. The fact that the Mavericks got in trouble last year for tanking to get their pick because there was top 10 protected, missing the playoffs. So,
Wow.
yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of, he's been the common denominator in pretty much every Philly situation. It's kind of like James Harden in Houston, except it's Embiid in Philadelphia. And I think this series should be the final straw because obviously when healthy, I think that Sixers team is much better than that Knicks team.
Yeah.
But they're still not a championship team.
Exactly. That's why I have concern with the Knicks moving forward. They should have put them to bed easily.
Yeah.
Even though they're 3-1 up, the games have not been playing their best basketball. They have not dominated the way they should have.
Well, the Knicks love to play scrappy, though.
They do, but the way they've played this season, they've been blowing teams out of the gym. So they should have taken the bull by the horns here, and they should have just easily put them to bed. But
Yeah.
Well, let me ask, though, is it after the season, do you have to make a decision with Joel Embiid?
no,
You
No,
don't.
you
But
don't.
you
Not
can
at
just
all.
trade him if you want.
You could trade him if you want. Obviously,
Yeah.
from dialogue from Sixers fans that I've talked to, it would be a mutual parting of ways, and they'll just work together to find a trade. But like at that point, like the window's closing, man. Embiid's 30, and he's got the body of a 70-year-old. So, or at least
Banged up.
how about a 76-year-old? No pun intended. But I just don't know. I mean, obviously, the way I would imagine Daryl Morey being there definitely threw them off course by trying to get James Harden.
Yeah.
But I just don't know. Like I said, I haven't been convinced by either team in this series, and is that partially biased because I'm a Nets fan? Maybe, but I think at the same time, I really haven't been impressed with what I've been seeing. The Knicks have closed out. The Knicks closed out games 1 and 4 good. I mean, the Sixers got robbed in game 2. We can all agree on that. Tyrese Maxey got assaulted by both Jalen Brunson and was it DiVincenzo?
No, it was hard.
Or it was Hart? Yeah.
Hart.
So yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents on the series at least.
Yeah.
That's why I have the Pacers going to the conference finals if they get past Milwaukee.
Okay. Yeah, I think you got to give more credit to the Knicks though.
I need to
It's
see
3-1.
more. I need to see more
Okay.
because, I mean, I've outside of the Cavs series where the Cavs were exponentially worse. Trey Young made them their father, or Trey Young is their father, and they lost to an 8 seed. So like,
Yeah.
I'll need to see more. I need them to prove me wrong. Can they? Absolutely. Will they though?
I think
That's
so.
the question.
I think they will.
So
Yeah, another thing too. I don't know how Tyler remembered that whole 76ers playoff run from 2014, and just ran off on how every series that happened they lost.
yeah, I remember we were in a net
I
space
don't-
once talking about it. We
I
went
don't
through
remember any of
each
that.
one. So
That's
all
good
I
memory
remember,
right there.
they found hilarious ways to lose. And the funniest part is when they lost to Atlanta, it completely went under the radar because of Ben Simmons and because we lost to the Bucks the day before.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always tough. But
Yeah.
if the Bucks lose this series in the first round, does Doc Rivers keep his job?
Oh man, that's so hard because like you can't really put this on Doc Rivers.
Right.
He doesn't really have much to go to at this point because he's only there because he took the job because of Giannis and Lillard. Like, but they're not going to be playing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if like, I don't know who do you hold responsible for the loss, and it can't be Doc Rivers, but like
I feel like this is the one year you really can't point
Yeah.
blame just because of injuries.
I think you keep Doc Rivers.
But to be fair, if they didn't, it could be a Giannis issue. Because obviously, I guess they were playing well under Adrian Griffin, but I guess he wasn't getting good vibes from it long term. Maybe I don't know, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you keep Doc, give him another year, see what he can do with a healthy team.
Yeah,
Then you can make your decision from there. But it's
Yeah.
tough in the NBA because time is everything. So like you can't just waste a year. So you have to be very careful with what you do. Like, but if they do fire Doc Rivers, like who's other options for them to pick up?
I mean, there's always going to be guys out there,
Yeah.
but like you're looking at like high level assistant coaches, right? You're looking at Sam Cassell, Dave Adelman, obviously JJ Redick if he doesn't get the Charlotte job. Becky Hammond's another good option. And then
Who do you think would be a good fit
for the Bucks?
for the Bucks?
It's really tough.
That is.
The Bucks really need a defensive-minded head coach. That's why they worked well under Budenholzer, but they just couldn't get it done in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So it's hard to kind of tell. And obviously there will be coaches fired this year, like Frank Vogel. I think
Yeah.
he's a good defensive-minded head coach. If he gets scapegoated out of Phoenix, he could potentially take the job.
Yeah.
I think JB Bickerstaff would be a really bad move for them. They should avoid that because he's definitely gone. I really don't know.
Yeah, it's tough.
The Bucks have an identity crisis right now, and they don't know it yet. And it's going to really hit hard once they get eliminated, whether it's this round or the next round.
What do you think about Donovan Mitchell in terms of where he ranks among shooting guards? And do you think he's a player that could elevate his team enough to be like the first option on a championship contender team?
So
Are you basing? You want to go?
yeah, let me take this. So it's so tough with Donovan Mitchell, and I know like the potential's there because obviously in the regular season he's unreal, right? One of the best top 5 shooting guard in the league, easy. But like when we get to the playoffs, just he can't get it going. And we saw him in the bubble. He'll go off for like some 50-point games. We know Donovan Mitchell can go nuclear.
Yeah.
But, we got to keep the same energy here. We go at Embiid every year for not making it past the second round. Donovan Mitchell's in the same category.
Yeah.
And he's gotten his chain snatched 2 years in a row by Jalen Brunson in the playoffs. And look, we could potentially see the same thing happen, but with Paolo Banchero. And I think an interesting note with this series, every losing team, like all 4 games, they've scored less than 90 points. And every game's been double digits, but the margin of victory for the Magic in their 2 wins have been substantially larger than the Cavs. I mean, the Cavs won by 14 in game. The Cavs won by 14 in game 1. They won by 10 in game 2. Then the Magic blew them out by like 30, 40 in game 3, and then they blew them out again by like 25 in game 4.
Yeah.
So from Cavs fans that I've talked to on Twitter and all my friends that are in the Cleveland area, they're done. They think the Magic are going to win the last 2 games and finish it off in 6.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie. It is when outside of Jared Allen, no one is playing good right now on the Cavs.
You don't think Mobley?
No, bro.
No?
Bro, they scored 83 and 89 points in the last two games.
Yeah.
They've been getting their backs blown out. Pause. But, like, at the end of the day, you got to show up. And I credit Jared Allen because Jared Allen was abysmal against the Knicks last year. Said the lights were too bright, which was pretty stupid
said
of him to
that?
say. Yeah. So the lights were brighter than expected. But look, the problem with Jared Allen in Brooklyn, he's soft, and he still kind of is, but he's starting to play with more fire. He's grabbing more boards. He realizes that he needs to kind of wake the fuck up, and he has.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the series he's been outstanding. He's easily been the Cavs' best player. But I think right now Orlando's just playing freely. They got nothing to lose. You know, they got a young team, coach with all the job security in the world, being a Coach of the Year finalist. This is their first year in the playoffs, I believe, since the bubble. I want to say, if not the bubble, then the year prior. But look, I think things are looking up for Orlando, and I did pick the Magic to start. But going back to Donovan Mitchell, 'cause I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent. On a championship team.
Yeah.
I think he can be a number one option,
Wow.
but right now he cannot. I think he can because we saw it with the Jazz. It was great. Obviously, they choked massively in the bubble, and then they choked in the second round against the Clippers in 2021, and then they choked against the Mavs last year. So, like, it's tough, or 2 years ago, whenever it was. And then, obviously, last year just completely was nothing aside from that one good game against the Knicks. So...
Yeah.
Look, it's tough. I know a lot of Nets fans want Donovan Mitchell on the team next year. I'd rather not. I'd rather just keep developing
agree
Cam
with that.
Thomas and see what he can turn into because I think he could be a playoff riser. And I don't think Donovan Mitchell is necessarily a playoff dropper.
No.
I think he's a playoff stagnator.
Yeah,
If that
okay.
makes sense. I think his game just goes really dry.
I think he's inconsistent.
Yeah,
I would
because
say.
you'll get an explosive
Yeah.
game from him, just like Embiid will go off for one playoff game.
Right.
But it's not, it's these second round merchants in the NBA
Yes.
it's a disease. Like,
Yes.
I'm telling you, it's a disease, and that's why voter fatigue is a thing. That's why we saw Giannis and Jokic not get their third in a row because for some reason they think postseason success equates to a regular season award, which makes no sense. But we could talk about that another time because I don't really have the mental capacity to right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you're Boston, you really want Cleveland in the second round.
Do you?
Yeah.
Orlando, for some reason, just knows how to play against them.
Yeah.
Not that they're still going to lose, but
Yeah, I think you want Cleveland. Same as I don't think you want Orlando.
no.
Just because I think you're going to be dealing with a lot more
Right.
when it comes to them.
Yeah.